welcome to Atooi Talks, Episode 8. The weekly show where Jools and Perry talk about making games together and playing games together. I'm one of your hosts, Jools, and my co-host is Perry. Hi, Perry. What is happening?
Hello.
Is that new? It must be, right? What is that?
This is my desk. I was working today and I was standing while I was
That's
working.
hilarious.
And I just thought that'd be kind of funny.
That reminds me of Bobby. Poor Bobby that is no longer with us. He had this amazing desk that did that, and it was so smooth. I mean,
it's so smooth.
He would do it, and it was like, $1 million production set kind of feeling when it did it.
Yeah.
It's so smooth. Ah, Bobby. Look at that. So it reminded me of that because it's one of the first times I'd seen it through a camera when he did it. I'm like, dude, that's hilarious.
Yeah, yeah. It's pretty fun. Yeah,
it's
fun
amazing
stuff.
Hey man, how you doing? Good to see
these
you.
Tables. Good to see you too. I was just saying, these tables, they have like hammocks that you can buy for them and stuff. Pretty cool for like your
You say
workspace.
hammocks?
Yes.
Oh wow.
I like to get one, but my room is just right there, so there's just no point.
But you can have a nap there. It can be your work nap station,
Again, my king
your bed is literally right there. Exactly.
So.
Your comfort space is right across the way, so why not? Exactly.
But I got my window open.
Oh,
spring's coming.
Oh, dude, right? It's beautiful, isn't it?
Smells
what is the temperature
good.
for you today?
Oh, it is.
I'm trying to think what it is here.
I have it right here.
Oh wow, it's 71 here right now.
So right now, apparently they say it's 46 degrees out.
What?
Which is pretty cold.
That is pretty cold.
I like that. When the sun's beating, it feels good. So
love that.
It's nice. But yeah,
the sun. It's an amazing thing.
I love the sun. It doesn't like my skin.
The sun doesn't love you. Or does
it doesn't
love
love my skin. It wants to burn me.
Right.
Yeah. Anyway.
Cool, man.
It's time for another episode. What episode?
Yes, it is.
Episode 7? 8.
I know, dude.
We're almost to the double digits.
Possible? How is that possible?
I don't know. That's crazy.
Fun. I know.
We've had some fun guests. We've talked about hatch tails. We're going to talk about more hatch tails today.
It's a beautiful thing. It is a beautiful thing. It's a fun thing that we do.
It is fun.
And I shaved this week for the show.
Look at you. I can't tell because it's so pixely.
Exactly.
But
and even if my age hasn't changed, at least I look a little fresher and put together for this week's show. All right, so we'll dive into the updates. Higgity Hatch Tales. We have some show and tell for this week.
This is
which
fun.
Is very exciting. So I'm going to pop something up on the screen right now. And this is the new level theme for the bonus levels, which is a brand new in every way for Hatch Tales when compared to the original Chicky Wig. So every world has 2 bonus levels added to it, which are brand spanking new. So I had to create a new art theme for it. And this is what I created. I should just finish this up. I think it was last week. So this is hot off press. Anyway, super fun. So it kind of started out as inspired by very much kind of, Super Mario 3D World, Mario 3D Land kind of style blocks and everything. That's kind of where they seeded the idea, was planted, which created the platforms that the player stands and bumps into. And then it came time to figuring out the background, in the mid-ground kind of layers. And originally, actually, I was going to do kind of just multicolored, twisty pillar things. I didn't know what to do, just make it Bizarro World. And then the crazy idea, the more cosmic, let's do a kind of a night sky kind of background back there. And the idea of planets came about. And there you go. I mean, it's the final result. It's
so weird. It's so random.
It's so
it
weird.
It makes no sense. It reminds me of Wallace and Gromit when they go to the moon.
Right,
it's made of
big,
cheese.
Juicy planets, yeah. So those ones directly behind Hatch, the ones that are in focus, are attached to the action layer, so they kind of move with you, but then have the drop shadows cast on them from the platforms. And then you have the slightly out of focus planets in the background and foreground that are obviously separate. And this is the first time, to my memory at least anyway, that we don't have clouds in the background or foreground. So it's pretty neat. We're actually
There's no clouds in space.
There's no clouds in space.
There's tiny planets.
So super fun.
It's cool.
Also, demonstrated in this screenshot is
there's
the
some goodies in
timer.
here. Yeah, the timer. That's
Which I don't think we've talked about this yet publicly yet. So this is a
can't
new
remember.
reveal, right? I think maybe, who knows? But
I think we've mentioned it a little bit.
Did we? Okay.
I think we did mention it once.
So yeah, you're probably right there. Maybe not on this show, but maybe on something else. I don't know. Whatever. Anyway, but now the user, and the game can present timed levels to the player, which is super fun. And obviously, if you create your own levels, you can assign that to your levels as well, both new and old. If you're a classic 3DS level maker,
That's so awesome.
super fun.
I remember years ago, probably like 3 years ago. I remember talking to you, like we were talking on Skype, and I was just like, Jools, why aren't there timers on the? I mean, because there's so much stuff in Chicken Wiggle.
Yeah, the ingredients is abundant.
I was like, why aren't there timers on levels? And you're like, that is such a good idea. Like, it's just there's always new things you can add.
It's the kind of idea that I really love because it's so simple and relatively easy to implement. I mean, nothing's easy to implement, but relatively easy to implement. But the ramifications are massive on what the player can do with that tiny little nugget that's added. So it was like such a no-duh moment of, you're like, hey, why isn't that in the game? I'm like, I do not have an answer to that question. I don't know why we didn't add that. Probably because we were so busy adding everything else to the game, and it was just an obvious thing we overlooked. But it's awesome to add that.
It is cool, and
I love it.
I don't know. Have you finalized exactly? I don't even remember how you can say this but how it's even going to work. Like, is it going to be like 30-second increments?
No, exactly. So, again, to my memory, I think the lowest is 15, which Matthew, the programmer, was like, "That's
awesome.
That's stupid. What's that?" But the point of that is,
great idea.
Every time you hit a checkpoint, it resets the timer.
Oh, yeah.
So the beautiful thing is,
that's right.
It will be like a Mario timer level where you have to collect the timer things to keep going through the level to get to the end.
Oh, yeah.
So amazing.
So you imagine that, pair that up with the running shoes. And...
Oh my God, dude. I mean, the potential is almost limitless, honestly.
Here's the other question.
So
does 15, time 30, stop when you grapple? Use Wiggle?
Yeah.
So time.
I mean, it kind of has to, really. Yeah.
Yeah, because that's how the game is coded, right?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Right. So the time will kind of stop counting down while you're actually playing it, which is a little weird. So it's actually technically longer than the actual time, but it has to, because time freezes when you're playing. So whatever.
That is so cool. Yeah. Interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. But no, it's 15, 30, 1 minute, 2 minute, 4 minutes, I think, are the blocks you can choose from. So however you want to use that, you can just slap a 4 minute on there and make a level. You can have little check gates,
gigantic level.
Do whatever you want.
And it's cool, right? Because then if you want to do a checkpoint, you just have more. It's like, then you can just not do a checkpoint or make a longer level, and it just gives you more options.
Yeah,
that's going to be ridiculously
10
fun.
checkpoints, whatever
I think
you want
you're
to do.
Get lots of 15-second ones, because it's, you know what I mean?
Oh, I know. Like the idea of starting the level, 15 starts counting down. You have to race to the next checkpoint, to the next checkpoint, to the next checkpoint. That's fun. That's super fun.
And it's going to be really fun for, because I assume, or can you keep hitting a checkpoint to get 15?
Not the same one. Once you've used it, it's gone. So you have to go to the next one.
Yeah. So you can imagine like how fun those levels are going to be, because there's definitely going to be spots where it's easy to complete the level, but to get everything, you have to really explore and really
you have to perfect it. Yeah.
Love what that.
So there's a lot of potential. It can be very, very easy, like just beat this level in 4 minutes, or it can be very, very challenging, and you know exactly what to do to get through it to hit every checkpoint. So it's gonna be fun.
And the fun thing is that how are you? I mean, it's funny. It's like you've been in all these towers, right? And that's what all the levels exist in these different towers. But this one, how do you get to space? A space tower.
We'll get to that in 1 second. I just wanted to touch on one extra thing with this. Is these bonus levels will have a different gameplay rule than the regular levels. So the regular levels will be rescue friend, for the most part, for Hatch anyway. And this one will be something different. So I don't know if it'll be timers yet. It probably will use timers. We haven't done these levels yet. But at the very least, it will use a different gameplay rule and maybe a timer. Because the nice thing is you can stack them; they're independent, so you don't have to do one.
Right. So again, that's a big part, right? You can do any of the 6 gameplay rules. This is a modifier on all those.
On top of it, yeah.
Amazing.
So it can just be 0, which is the way it was in the original game, or you can add a timer. So very exciting.
So take me home, where you lead the skeleton. 15 seconds.
Go.
Oh,
exactly. Boy. Oh my golly.
Oh boy.
And yes, what you were alluding to a second ago, I was like, wait, what's really fun is for the first time, a level theme kind of then changed what I'd already created for the level select overworld hub thingamajiggy. Whereas before, and if you look back on previous mock-ups that we've shared of the level select, they used to have just a little dot and a little sign next to it saying, hey, 300 gems or whatever you need to get in there. So then it was like, well, okay, if this level's in space, what do we do? Do we put like a little warp there, or what do we do? What did we do? Cue new screenshot. We added rocket ships.
Look at those adorable rocket ships. They're just perfect, like little egg ships.
Super cute. So now we got rid of the signpost because it was just getting a bit cluttered down there. So just put the number underneath the dot. And then, you got the little rocket ship there. So the way it'll work is you beat level 1, 2, 3. And at that point, you could have a maximum of 300 gems. And then the path would open up that allow you to get to that rocket ship bonus level. If you don't
100% the 3 levels, you're rewarded with a bonus level.
Exactly. If you don't have 300, then it wouldn't be opened up. You just couldn't even get there. So, and the cute thing is, and this hasn't been implemented yet, so we'll see how it actually turns out. But what I'm hoping we'll be able to pull off is you walk down to that, you select that level, and the rocket ship just kind of just takes off and rockets off the screen and then transitions to the level. That will be amazing.
Boom. Now you're in space, baby.
Now, exactly how you access the gold rocket ship, well, that's a mystery you'll have to discover yourself.
Oh, cheeky.
We'll leave it at that.
Yeah, look at those. I love those fun letters.
That's the other reveal right here. This is the first time revealing the final fun letters. Skib on babbly bibbly. This is it, I think.
Which went through so many.
Lots of revisions
like
of this.
5 revisions? I mean, seriously, 6?
Well, and even this went through its own revisions for itself. Because I remember we had it in the level or in some other situation, and I shoved them in this screen. It just didn't look right. And then the piece of the puzzle that I had to add to make it fit in this were basically the outlines around the rim of each of the coins. It's not just a single color outline. It's a colored outline, which exhibits sense of lighting, right? So it's lighter at the top and darker at the bottom. So it's a contextual outline, if you will. So that was the key. That was the key to allow this to sit in the scene. And then that inspired adding an outline to the gems, which you'll see in the top right, which the original game, original HD didn't have. It was just an HD version of the original. So I was like, I wonder how it would look for an outline on the gems. And I was like, oh my gosh, I love them.
Glorious.
It looks so good. It's so simple, but I love it playing the game. Actually, if you go back to the original screenshot that we showed a minute ago, in that screenshot, you'll see the gems have the outlines in the level. So it looks a little different, so pretty neat. Anyway.
And I just love, and again, I just think it's so funny. Fun. Like I just love that. There's no exclamation point. It's just aren't you having fun?
Having fun yet?
This is fun. I just love it.
Yeah.
And yes, I am having fun.
It is fun. Yeah. It's silly. And that's one of the things where I kind of did steer away from it for a little bit. We did the other super gems, as they were called, when we got rid of the fun letters. Because the word fun is a little cheesy, but at the end of the day, something else we talked about from a game design communication perspective is, I think there were red, green, and blue, for example, before, without any other unique markers. The problem with that, or the advantage of having letters, is now you can be like, oh, I've got the U. Oh, I missed the F. You kind of have a sense of placement, of bearings, of like, oh, I must have missed one of them, because obviously they're always displayed in that order, F-U-N, in the level, just like the Kong letters are in the Donkey Kong levels. So that was a really important thing to bring back. And just embrace it. It's fun. It's silly. It's cute. It works.
And they kind of look like coins,
Yeah, I mean, it's a combination of Mario coins and Donkey Kong letters, really, kind of, right? It's a combo of those two fused together in a delicious, golden, delicious.
I suppose when characters are making, or when players are making their own levels, they could make it enough in the level. ends first.
They could.
They can do whatever they want. They can say,
Oofen. Oh, absolutely. If you're creating your own levels,
German listeners.
Yeah. You can put them any order you want. But, and that makes it tough for the player, right? Like, I don't know what I've missed.
It does.
So is that good or bad? You be the judge.
I love it.
You be the level designer.
I love playing through people's levels. It's really fun seeing what people harp on, like what people like, what they think a level sticks out to them, and then they implement that. I love seeing it because it's stuff you don't even think about. So I love that.
Yeah, it's incredible. I mean, it's the results of what people did on the 3DS level maker stuff is really outstanding. It's incredible. And they'll all be accessible through the Switch version as well.
Crazy. That's enough about Hatch Tales.
That is enough about Hatch Tales, which is super exciting. So it was fun to share all of that goodies. Secret casual online party game, codename RBR, is more of the same, really. We're doing more testing. We're implementing the languages. We've got the languages back. We got the languages back, which is great. And it was actually pretty quick. And yeah, it's cool, man. I mean, seeing the different languages in the game is awesome. I love it.
Totally. It's crazy cool. It's so cool. I love seeing the Japanese
add the language screen. Yeah, we didn't even have the language screen before, so we've added that. We updated the region screen. So, yeah.
And it's great. Yeah, I mean, you talk about an online. I mean, it's funny. People don't know what this is, so they're like, yawn. Like, what are you talking about languages for? But I want you to think. I mean, if it's a secret online, or if it's a casual online party game, and there's different languages, it's like, what's going on here, right?
Yeah, what is going on here?
Gets your mind going. Like, what?
Yeah, it's gonna be fun. It's super fun. So yeah, looking forward to revealing more about it. But that's going along very well, and we're towards final testing. The game is running great. We have a few things we're still ironing out. I'm sure more things will crop up, but we're getting there. We're getting really close. Yes. I mean, it's content complete, so it really is just testing, getting rid of bugs. Exciting, amazing, super fun. All right, on to questions. If you would be so kind. If you would be so kind. That's right.
I would. I really would. Okay, this is from Nicholas Croplin on YouTube. He asks, are you considering making some mobile exclusive games or porting more games to mobile like you did with Mutant Mudds?
Mobile exclusive, not right now. We have in the past, of course. We did Night Fright as the most recent one, which is a really good game that no one knows about. We were not lucky enough to be featured on the App Store with that one, so no one knows about it. And it was downloaded by about 5 people. But it's great. It is the evolution and ultimate version of Toads. I mean, it's such a great experience. It really builds upon that and kind of perfects it and takes it in a much more interesting and cool experience, theme-wise and gameplay-wise. It's just such a great game. I love it. So proud of it. But no one knows about it. Anyway, so that was our most recent. And I think because of the reason that, the fact that it didn't do particularly well because we weren't featured, I don't know if we'll be doing many more exclusives in the future because it is kind of tough. But
it's just dependent on that,
It's completely dependent on
and
that.
And then you just can't count on it.
Yeah, you can't. You cannot. And that seemed like they had a really good shot to be featured, but it wasn't. So it was like, oh wow, okay. And you don't know until it's release day. Like they won't tell you. And you're like, right, okay, I guess it wasn't there. Cool, thanks. It's actually really, really, really challenging situation. But we are doing a mobile version of our secret casual online party game RBR. Yes. So that will be on that platform.
Interesting. I'm narrating the audience right now. Interesting.
That's so interesting. So that's going to be, and then that not only, it's not exclusively on there, of course, it is also on Nintendo Switch. I said it. Oh my gosh. I think everyone probably knew that, and we probably already said it.
Yeah, it's on Switch.
So Switch and mobile for sure.
And Ouya.
And Ouya. And probably Steam as well. So, yeah, but no, as far as exclusive, no, I don't think so anytime soon. But I'd love to. I really like the App Store environment. I love making games for it. Like I say, check out
it's okay.
Night Fright. No, making games for it, though, is a really pleasant experience. Not from a programming perspective. I heard that's terrible. But from everything else perspective, uploading the ROM, setting up the game page, all that kind of stuff is really pleasant. Doing updates and everything. It's a really great little ecosystem. But selling games on it, though, is really, really tough. So
because it's so good.
Yeah, because it's so easy to access. Everyone's on it, and it's a complete glut. Definitely worse than the Switch, but the Switch is in a pretty bad way as well in that regard. Yeah. And I think
there you go. Thank you for the question, Nicholas.
Thank you for the question, Nicholas. Appreciate it. That was on my YouTube channel, replying to our previous episode, I believe. I'm not incorrect in that thought. And I think that's the only question we're doing this week. And then we're going to go on to playing games. What games are you playing, Perry?
Oh, you want to know? So yeah, I beat Xenoblade.
Nice. How many hours was that roughly? Does it say
70 hours? No. Yeah. Yep, and it was great. I really enjoyed it. My wife played along with me. She really enjoyed the story and the combat mechanics and stuff. It was a really fun experience, and I'm really missing it right now. So I want to go back and play the prequel they released, the Torna something. I do have it. So I'm probably going to play through that. And it's a smaller one. I think it's like 20 some hours. So
that game gets a big thumbs up from Perry Thathers then?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Nice.
Yeah. Not perfect by any means, but incredible production. And another game that it has incredible production and not perfect by any means is this little game, Oasis.
Ever heard of it?
Yeah, made by Grezzo. The people that did all the Zelda games besides Link Between Worlds. I don't think they did that one.
But it was published by Nintendo, right?
Oh yeah. This is a Nintendo game.
Yeah.
And this is a great little action RPG is what I call it. There's not turn-based battles. It's totally built off of the Zelda, the Majora's Mask Ocarina of Time engine. And it's a really fun little setup, and it's in this, it's just, you're in this little oasis and you're building a town, a desert town basically. And it has this little kind of like Animal Crossing like element where, like new people come in and they set up shops and you stock their shops. And that's kind of a fun little thing. You stock it with things that while you're out in the field, you're collecting. Like when you kill an enemy, you get you kill a snake and you get a snake skin, and then you can sell that to one of the shops. So it's really fun. It's this really sense of you're building your oasis. It gets bigger, and then the actual it's not exactly Zelda style dungeons in puzzling mechanics, but with actually going out, and then there are dungeons, but the way that you solve them are different. You have a team of people that you can swap out, and each one has a different unique mechanic. So it's a little more simple. It's a little more on the simple side. It's not as head scratching as a Zelda temple, but it really charming. And it's funny because I was a little this game hasn't hooked me so much yet. The music and the look of it and the feel of it it hooked me, but the gameplay was not there yet. And right when I was about to kind of be I don't know, it introduced a new mechanic that was pretty fun, and now I'm kind of itching to get back to it, which is a really good feeling. So I'm really liking it.
I should dive back into it. I did get it when it first came out, and the production value is perfect. I mean, it's absolutely stunning. But the game didn't hook me, but maybe I need to dive back in and give it another shot, because it is gorgeous and clearly a very well crafted experience. So it's a shame to miss out.
It's fun, cool. And the action parts just feel good. I love it. So simple, but it's actual real. After playing Xenoblade, which this is kind of like a real-time version of Xenoblade, to be honest, very in a lot of ways. After playing it, it just feels so good to hit something and find its weak point, and you face a boss, and it was really fun. So really enjoying it.
Nice,
and it's, what a shame, dude, another game yet released in 2017. I mean, another amazing game.
Yeah.
What a year, dude. What a
Switch
year.
version of that would be impressive.
It really would.
That would upscale nicely, because it's already gorgeous. So
it would be interesting. Yeah. Absolutely, it would be.
Nice.
I think it would do great.
I
know. It's interestingly enough, is the other game that came out on that day, Miitopia, was and it was actually ported by Grezzo. So I think they thought, I wouldn't be surprised if Nintendo was like, hey, port that probably has more mass appeal than Ever Oasis did. But I don't know. Ever Oasis is a great little game. It stinks that
I think that would do really well on Switch because it does have that fantasy RPG vibe going on, which is obviously very popular on the platform or Nintendo fans at large. I think I would love it. It was definitely overlooked, because of the timing, for sure. Cool, man. Nice. I need to dive back into that. I've actually also been on the Nintendo 3DS, actually my 2DS, playing Pokemon Omega Ruby because I'm a sick individual when it comes to my Pokemaniac. You know what's crazy? On the save file, it showed that I first started playing it in 2011. That's crazy to me. I don't even know how that's possible because let me look at this real quick.
No way.
Let me quit out. Yeah, there we go. It sits at the bottom there. That
can't be.
How does it say the last save? Oh, maybe my clock's just wrong. It says the last save was in 2011. That's not true because I saved it today. That's what it is. My clock's just broken. Sorry, I'm a dum-dum.
It came out 2014.
There we go then. So that proves that that's impossible.
It was funny. So my friend Aaron, who I mentioned before, who named his daughter Ruby after these original games. Yes. I remember I was sitting at work and I saw on my phone that these were going to be released. And I go, Aaron, they're being released. A remake of your favorite game of all time is being released on November 21st. And he goes, that's my birthday. It was just like, it's the greatest day of all time. It's like, life here's happy birthday, Aaron. You get your favorite game remade.
Amazing. Yeah. Anyway, so I'm playing through that, and I'm sure everyone knows about that game already, but it's great. So I'm enjoying that. And there you go.
There you go.
Just get my Poke fixed. Just get my Poke fixed. Like we were chatting the other day about, the differences between them all, the new ones as well as the old ones and stuff. And it's odd. I was thinking about this again the other day. I think Let's Go Pikachu is one of my favorites, which is really unexpected for me to feel that way.
That's bizarre.
It is bizarre.
But I mean,
the combination of the art style, the structured old school nature of the level layout of the world, which I'm a big fan of. I like Legends, of course, and Arceus and all that, but I do like the structured stuff, which obviously isn't in Sword and Shield, but is in the new Pearl. But Pearl doesn't have the same production value as Let's Go Pikachu, ironically, even though it came out later. And the other thing about Let's Go Pikachu that I really liked is it doesn't have the random battles. You can see the Pokemon flying around in the world, so you can avoid them or bump into them, depending on what you want to do. And I really like that. Random battles are just annoying. I don't know if I've never liked them. I'm sure some people love them. I've always hated random battles when it comes to
something a little
Final
fun.
Fantasy, Dragon Quest.
I kind of like that when you know in the designated zone. I like that. Like that. It's like,
at least they have it in the grass, so you can get it in the grass and out the grass. At least they have that, whereas most JRPGs don't have that. So at least that is an improvement. But with Let's Go Pikachu, you can see them. And then when you go into it, you have that weird mini game of throwing the ball, which is just a button press because of the Joy-Con. I don't think so. To actually get it, and I don't know, man. It just really scratches my itch.
It really frosts your cookie.
It really frosts my cookie.
So, exactly. You know what would be a cool mechanic is if kind of in a similar way, it's like if you had those surprise, if you're going out and you have the surprise attacks, if there's like a little action command, like that you could do.
A time event to kind of get out of it.
And then you hit it, and then you get the experience for battling them, and you keep going. That would feel so good because that's kind of like what Arceus does, right? It's kind of
fun, right? Yeah, you bump into someone, you have this quick time event, either you escape or you attack them first. You, depending on what you do, you either get an advantage or you get out of there. Or if you miss either one of those, you're in and you're at their mercy.
Yeah, and there could be like a punishment for missing, or you could choose to battle them. I think that would be great. Reason, Yeah.
And then that's another modifier you can do to increase or decrease that.
Absolutely,
for a future run of the game. It's like we're game designers or something. It's crazy. Love it. Cool. Well, actually, we have a fun segment coming up next, which is a fan, another person I actually already know, which is just a coincidence, but a Atooi Talks fan who bought one of these puppies. Which is very nice of them. They didn't need to do that. But anyway, they're going to be coming up next. So skip on Babbly Bibbly. And here we are with our friend John Kaiser. Hello, John. Oh, sorry.
Hey, I'm so sorry. I didn't see you there. I was so engrossed in this new Mutant Muds art book.
That. And what is that? Art and Design Works?
What? Yeah, it is. Official Art and Design Works. Man, and what really caught my attention was you really went... Are all these characters that you kind of modified, designed, all in the game?
Oh, yeah. Super
like
Challenge.
Abe and Shovel Knight?
Yep, Shovel Knight, Shantae.
So weird. I forget Shovel Knight's in Super Challenge.
All from... Yeah, they're all secret characters in Super Challenge that you unlock. Isn't that amazing?
Man, I wish I didn't suck so bad so I could unlock them all.
Dude,
I know,
they are hard
too. I have never unlocked any of them. They're super hard to find.
Yeah, not only is the game hard, but actually to discover where they're hidden is a nightmare. It's truly a super challenge. Truly.
I don't even know how to get them. I still don't know. I literally don't know.
Oh my God.
I've asked you. I remember I asked you once, and you're like, you wouldn't tell me. It's like, man, that really is a super challenge.
That is a super challenge. But
and is there a wiki?
So, probably somewhere. So, John, obviously, you and I have known each other for years. We worked together on Dementium 2 back in the day in 2010, I want to say.
2009 to 2010?
Yeah, I guess the game came out in 2010, so 2009-10, when you were working at South Peak and we were doing, Dementium 2.
Yeah, it was my honor to be your producer on that project through South Peak. And
it's a fun game, man.
Everything, one of the fun things I like to mention is game manuals, which have gone to the wayside. Mm-hmm. That was kind of the last days of game manuals.
Right.
And the two projects, my two DS projects, Dementium 2 and Big Bang Mini, I also designed the manuals for.
Fun.
And the manuals for both those games actually got mentioned in the reviews because I took a different slant. Because remember, for Dementium 2, we made it like it was the this is your pamphlet. Oh,
Yep.
It's like you just got not submitted, but not indoctrinated. Yeah. What's the word I'm looking for?
Yeah, admitted, I guess.
Admitted, yes, into the Bright Dawn, and this was your manual.
Bright Dawn Treatment Center.
Beautiful. Yes. So yes, John Kaiser here. Currently, I'm an executive director of the Warehouse Living Arts Center here in Corsicana, Texas. It's a theater and gallery.
That's so cool, dude. That's such an interesting path to take. I love it. It's like creative, and it's interesting how I would imagine there's a lot of parallels in that field to just creativity, making games.
It's so like, I mean, I grew up a gamer, knew I wanted to get into game design early on in life, but then discovered acting and then acted for a while. And then I came to one of those huge, pivots in life crossroads, where, the crossroads where, I was working at Midway, but I was in tech support. I was the guy telling you how to do Scorpion's animalities and all that, and walking you through a Doom 64 level.
Amazing.
And then
where was that located, by the way? Where were you then?
This was in Corsicana, Texas. So Midway purchased Trade West, and Trade West was formed here in Corsicana because Midway wanted that sweet, home publishing. Power. They saw Acclaim getting all that sweet Mortal Kombat 2 money.
Yeah.
When it
Trade West, they were an arcade company, weren't they? Trade West?
Yeah. They brought over Akari Warriors, Double Dragon.
Wow. Okay. Yeah.
And then got into the home console. Battletoads.
Cool. Yeah.
That's Trade West.
Did you do other roles within Midway?
Yeah. So I literally I was going to say this Crossroads. I was supposed to go to New York and audition for the American Academy of Dramatic Arts with one of my best friends.
Oh, wow.
And then right before our auditions to get in, I got offered the role in job opportunity in San Diego to move into testing and then to, move up through there. And so I had like, do I pursue my acting career or do I pursue my gaming career? So I said, oh, you know what? I'm going to go where I know I'll have the paycheck.
Indeed.
Acting in New York, I wasn't quite ready for that challenge. That's Mutant Mud's super challenge level right there.
Challenge, yeah. That's cool. So you're into San Diego Midway, right?
And then still with Midway, and then I worked my way up tech support, and then I got into, testing for a little bit, and then got into internal development as an associate producer.
Nice.
And was
what year was this roughly? Do you know?
2000 to 2002 or 4.
Okay.
Somewhere in there.
Right. Cool.
Yeah, January. I left January 2000 for the West Coast.
Okay.
But it was one of those, worked my way up, and then right out the door, ended up on a couple of projects that got canceled for financial reasons. They needed a Christmas project, so they had to shift funds and focus, and me and my team were let go.
Yeah. At the San Diego one, or
at the San Diego office,
right. What did you jump to after that? Was that
so a producer friend of mine, we developed a company called Nightscribe, and what we were doing was pairing IPs with developers. So we'd reach out to IP owners and then kind of work up a pitch and kind of help them visualize how a game would work. And then we went to different developers to try to find a match, and then through that, a publisher. And we had some success there for a little while. Remember the TV show Rescue Me? The firefighter series with Dennis Leary?
Oh, yeah.
So, the FX.
Wow.
Yes. We designed the web game for that, and I actually designed every level in the house you go through. I based on the layout of Midway. So, like, the first level is like the front door, and like this is a reception area, and like my office was over here, and like each level was kind of the Midway's layout of the building I was in. So that was cool. Fun, but it didn't quite. It was one of those everybody loved it, not everybody wanted to pay for it things, and so
it's hard to get money out of people.
Yeah, it really is. Like, oh yeah, this is great. Oh wait, how much? You want money for this?
And then that's what led you to South Peak after that?
Yeah, I ended up back in Texas and was doing some audiovisual work for a local news station. Kind of producing some local news shows. And then there was an art need at South Peak. And South Peak was about 9 people at the time when I came on.
Dallas?
Grapevine.
Grapevine, that's right. Yep.
Yeah, because they're not too far from GameStop headquarters.
Oh, wow.
Up there. But I had a friend that was like, hey, you're a graphic designer, we need some help. So I started doing a little bit. They're like, hey, you want to hired on? I was like, okay, got hired on. So I got hired on as a graphic designer. And then as they were starting to grow, they're like, wait a minute, you're a producer and you've done this, you've done game design, you've done writing and this and that. I'm like, yeah. They're like, how would you like to bump up? So I'm like, of course. So as the company grew, I got to grow within the company.
Nice. How long were you there for then?
Till March 15th, 2010.
Yeah.
Yeah, 2010. Yeah. So I was there for about 5 years. About 5 years.
Yeah. Right. So it was literally today, how many years ago? 12 years ago?
Yeah,
today?
12 years ago today, oddly enough, was the day I got laid off from South Peak.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, our experience with South Peak was interesting because they bought Gamecock, who was the publisher of Dimension 1, who are now Devolver Digital, essentially. Same people, at least, anyway. So they sold Gamecock to South Peak. South Peak got the entire library of games they were working on, which include Dementium. And at the time, we had just signed a game with Gamecock, which was Son of the Dragon, which was a vampire game on Wii and DS, is what we were doing. So we were literally about to get an office space, like for the first time ever. We were getting the team together. It was going to be a big deal because it was a pretty big budget. And then we just heard that Gamecock had been bought by South Peak. I'm like, what?
Yes,
Okay. And
I hate that killed the son of the dragon, but I love that it brought you into my life, Jules.
I agree, John.
And now Perry. Perry, are you familiar with South Peak Games? Did you play Dementium? Was that a prerequisite for Jules bringing you on?
I was too scared. I remember seeing it at Target, and I was like, that's too scary for me.
The cover with the hand?
That's freaky.
See, that's actually a really good point. What is the story behind the cover? Because I don't even know. I just suddenly was presented with a really terrible chicken scratch of the drawing, thinking, okay, that's cool. And then the next thing I saw was that final cover. And I was like, holy crap. That is so amazingly disturbing. I don't know what the story was behind that cover. Where did that come from?
Saw was big at the time, and I believe they went after the ad company.
Use a studio? Oh, wow. Oh, the actual ad company that did that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
wow.
That did the Saw promo stuff.
Dude, wow. And I had no idea.
That's awesome.
I believe that's... Yeah.
But that makes complete sense because that cover is incredible. Like, I remember when I first saw it, I'm like, are we allowed to put that in GameStop? Like, that's so disturbing. Was my first reaction was like, I don't know if we can do that. I love it, but I don't know if we're allowed to do that. But then when you look at it, you're like, well, it's not technically doing anything wrong. If you look at the rules,
there's no blood. It's not really like gory. Yeah,
it's just really disturbing. What a
just
great
absolutely
cover.
Disturbing. It scared poor little Perry out of the shop.
Amazing cover. Oh, that is so cool, dude. I'm glad that we got onto that because I had no idea. That is so interesting. Well, that makes sense. Wow, they knocked it out of the park, man. What a great cover.
We put a lot of love into your project there.
Yeah, no, it was a really fun project. So Son of the Dragon was canned, which was obviously very distressing to us. Glad we hadn't signed the lease on the on the office space. That would
I had just signed a lease on a new car like 2 weeks before I got laid off South Peak. I was like,
So, and the nice thing was, though, they came back to us and said, we're definitely not going to do Son of the Dragon, but, and they owed us a bunch of money, by the way, like 6 figures, because we'd been working on the game but hadn't been paid. So Gamecock owed us this money, which suddenly meant South Peak owed us that money because they bought everything.
Yeah,
good and bad.
That included,
So suddenly we were owed a lot of money, and they're like, we're not going to do that anymore. I'm like, okay, that sucks. I guess that's fine, but you still owe us for all the money that we've spent on, making this game. And I remember the guy I was working with, and you probably know his name. I can't think of his name. He was like the business dev guy, super nice guy. I worked with him. Doesn't matter. Anyway, super nice guy. He did a great job.
Yeah. I'm blanking
we had
on the name
many
as well,
emails back and forth trying to get that figured out, and he did a bang up job. And at the end of the day, they're like, okay, look, I know we owe you all this money, but we can't just give you the money because we're a public company. We can't just give you 6 figures because that's going to look terrible in the books. I'm like, okay, I'm listening. And they're like, how about, what's the budget you need? What do you want to make and how much do you want for it? And we're like, Dementium 2, $500,000. They're like, okay, we'll give you that. We'll just put the money we owe you into that. We're like, we're done here. I mean, I could not believe that we're going to do that. And just for perspective, that's a ton of money. That's like Dementium 1 was like 300,000, and that to us was like, what? And so asking for 500 for the sequel, I was just being cheeky, honestly. And they actually said,
you're like 500,000 $1,000,000.
No, 1,000. Yeah.
1,000. Yeah, no, I meant 1,000.
But it was an incredible opportunity because we had the budget, we had the team, we got to work with you and Dave, which was awesome. You guys were awesome to work with.
Dave was a great guy to work with.
Yeah, definitely.
Not that he's passed or anything; he's just no longer working together.
He's not really in the industry so much. No, great guy. And
no,
Dave,
you know what he's doing?
Was he doing the band
managing
stuff?
Bands. He's managing cover bands.
And his brother's in one of them, right?
Yeah, and his brother's band, Pet Rock. Yeah.
That's right. Yeah, that's good. So Dave D is the father of Turok and Turok 2, for those that don't know.
Cool.
So he's an awesome guy, and he was the creative director at Iguana Acclaim, then was the creative director at South Peak. Awesome guy, very talented, good friend, and but it was great working with you guys. Yeah, me too. But it was a good experience. Yeah, we got to work together on that game, and it was pretty easy breezy, and it was a fun project. We had a big booth at E3, which was really fun. The pillar, the Dementium Bright Dawn Treatment Center pillar, that looked like it was just tiled and all gross. It's this really cool kind of pillar. It was all just an image pasted on, but it looked really cool. And Aubrey,
yes.
Aubrey was the PR manager there, so she was awesome working on the booth and stuff. So good times, man.
She's got on to big bed things.
Minecraft, I want to say, right?
Yeah, well, she was on Minecraft, and then went to Forza, and then created some new role over multiple things. She went from one to the other. I can't remember if it's Forza to Minecraft or Minecraft to Forza.
She's so good at what she does. Not an easy job. It's hard to keep that pep going in that role. She does a good job. So good times. Actually, and that gave me a weird memory. I think her husband dressed up as a Dementium thing for Halloween at the office.
He did. He was one of the wards. Yeah, he had the orange jumpsuit. Right. He was William Redmore, I believe. I think he had Redmore on his jumpsuit.
Amazing. Good times, man. Good times. So
it works. Wish you were there, Perry. You would have loved it.
Yeah. I was like 10.
Amazing. So, well, I mean, if you have a question for us, awesome. Obviously, you don't have to because
I had one, but it's different now since we've had this conversation because now I want to know.
I want to look out.
All that work on Son of the Dragon is any way to pull that into Atooi anywhere?
I mean, I'm sure that it's really just lost in the ether, so it's probably not officially owned by anyone. You know what I mean? Because
I don't think anybody still exists anymore that owned it.
Well, even if they did, honestly, it was probably never on the books for South Peak because they never accepted it, right? As like, no, we're not doing that. So it never really entered any paperwork anywhere, probably. So I think that would be easy. In practicality, it would be easy to take that and rebirth that. But it was a pretty ambitious game. It was pretty much a third-person Castlevania, essentially, but you were Dracula. I mean, that was the shtick. That was the idea. And that was going to be awesome. We had some amazing team members on there that would have... Actually, one of them was, Stephen Dupree that went on to do Tropical Freeze fame, at Retro, the level designer of that game. And yeah, we had a pretty Class A team ready to make that game. But alas... Actually, I did get to steal Stephen, though, to do a little bit for Dementium 2, so that was good.
Oh, that's nice.
He did some of the level design for that, so that's good.
So, Perry, can you write some creepy music? You think you can get some Dracula vibes going?
Sure. I've been to I've been to Dracula's house. So.
Look out.
In Transylvania. I've been to Castle Braun, so there you go.
See, I'm glad I brought this up. It's just like today is like a nexus point.
That's right.
It is.
That's right.
Everything's just going to come birthing out of this.
Yeah. Well, cool, man. I think we can call that a wrap on today's week's show. Thank you, Mr. Kaiser, for joining us, and thank you for buying a mug, even though the purchase wasn't necessary.
Purchase that cool rainbow one.
Yeah, look at that.
That's awesome. I didn't know that was I would have done that.
I did not know that was an option.
Got the nice yellow inside, and because the color goes very well with the.
Cool.
Beautiful.
So if you click on the options in there, it has all these effects you can apply to it, and most of them didn't do anything. And I can't remember which effect that was, but it went boop, and I was like, oh, okay. It's got the orange at the top. It's like, well, yeah, they got the orange background for Atooi. I was like, I got to go this route.
You just had to, and it was beautiful. Yeah. Awesome. Well, thanks, Tom. Good to see you, man.
Always a pleasure. Perry, I'll talk to you again sometime. Been a pleasure.
And
absolutely.
We'll see you all again next week.
Here's to Atooi.